So this is a lecture for section 4.2 for MAC 2233 Applied Calc. So in this section, we're going to be introduced to the product rule and the quotient rule. And so these are pretty straightforward. There is obviously algebra involved here. But the product rule basically states that if f of x is a function that is the product of two of the functions, so in other words, f of x is equal to u of x times v of x, and then u prime and v prime, the derivative of both u and v, exist, then f prime of x would be u of x times v prime of x plus v of x times u prime. So in other words, the function u times the derivative of v plus the function v times the derivative of u. Now, the quotient rule basically says that if f of x is u of x divided by v of x, of course v of x does not equal 0, u prime and v prime both exist, then f prime of x is v, the numerator would be v of x times u prime minus u times v prime all over v of x squared. And so obviously we're going to do some examples here in this section. Now remember that c bar of x, I can write it there. So c bar of x is basically the cost function divided by the number of units. So that's the average cost. And then so therefore c bar prime of x is the marginal average cost. So remember, whenever we say marginal profit, marginal revenue, we're talking about the derivative of the function at whatever value it is that they give us. So let's look at number one. And so number one, obviously we're going to use the product rule. Now, one of the things that I like to do is sort of just kind of label them here real quick, and that'll give me an opportunity to sort of see what each one will be. And since u is equal to 3x squared plus 2, then u prime would be 6x, right? So u is 3x squared plus 2, u prime is 6x. Now, v, we designated that to be 2x minus 1. So v prime will just be 2, right? And so therefore, y prime is going to be 3x squared plus 2, right? So remember, if y is equal to, let me do it this way, if f of x is equal to u of x, excuse me, times v of x, then f prime of x is u of x v prime of x plus v of x times u prime of x. So then this is my u, my v prime is that one, my v is 2x minus 1, and then my u prime is 6x. So if I combine these, it's going to be 6x squared plus 4 plus 12x squared minus 6x. And then I can go ahead and combine these into 18x squared minus 6x plus 4. So y prime, given that y is defined as 3x squared plus 2 times 2x minus 1, then y prime would be 18x squared minus 6x plus 4. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just expand this real quick. So 2x minus 5 to the second power would be just 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5. Now, be aware that if I were to FOIL this, I can just use the power rule. But since we're using the product rule, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to, for the sake of being consistent, that's going to be my u, that's going to be my v. So u is going to be 2x minus 5, which will make my u prime 2. My v is also the same, so my v prime would also be 2. So then y prime would be 2x minus 5 times 2, which is my v prime, times 2x minus 5 times 2, which is my y prime. My u prime, sorry. So 4x minus 10 plus 4x minus 10, right? And so I'm just going to go ahead and combine these to be 8x minus 20. So y prime for number 3 would be 8x minus 20. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4 is going to be the same thing, right? I'm going to expand this, so it's going to be 7x minus 6 times 7x minus 6. It's going to be my u, that's going to be my my v. So u is 7x minus 6, which makes my u prime 7. My v is also 7x minus 6, which makes my v prime 7. So y prime would be 7x minus 6 times 7. 7x minus 6 times 7. 49x minus 42. 49x minus 42, which will give me 98x minus 84. So for number 4, y prime is 98x minus 84. So now, looking at number 8, so I'm going to make this my u, I'm going to make this my my v. So u is 2x minus 3. So u prime is 2. My v is the square root of x minus 1. So my my v prime would simply just be 1 over 2 square roots of x, right? And then we determine that to be basically the derivative of the square root of x. So then y prime would be 2x minus 3 times 1 over 2 square roots of x plus square root of x minus 1 times 2. So then here I'm going to get 2x over 2 square roots of x minus 3 over 2 square roots of x, right? Let's just keep it consistent here for now. 2 square roots of x minus 2. And so I can clean this up a little bit, right? So this is just going to be x over the square root of x minus 3, 2 square roots of x. Let me rewrite this here real quick. So this is going to be 2 square roots of x minus 2. So I can combine all of these. Actually, let me combine these here. So for the first one, I am just going to try to get the same denominator anywhere. So I'm gonna kind of go back to this line over here. So I do apologize for that one, just to kind of combine everything. Right. So that's 2 square roots of x. So if I multiply 2 square roots of x times 2 square roots of x over 2 square roots of x is going to be 4x over 2 square roots of x, right? So 2 square roots of x, 2 square roots of x, right? That's why I get my 4x. And then this was going to be 4 square roots of x over 2 square roots of x. So I can kind of combine all of these. So then I'm going to have 2x minus 3 plus 4x minus 4 square roots of x. So then it'll be 6x minus 4 square roots of x minus 3 over 2 square roots of x. And so I can further clean this one up if I separate everything, right? So this will be 3x over the square root of x and then this one here will just be 3 over 2 minus the 2. And so this will just be 3 over 2 square roots of x minus the 2. Let me make sure that everything was correct there. So that's just 2x minus 3, and the 4x, and then the 4. Yeah. Okay. So let's go for number 12 here. So number 12 is going to be the quotient rule. Right, so I'm going to define u to be 8x minus 11. So u prime is going to be 8. v is going to be 7x plus 3. V prime will be 7. So f prime of x is 7x plus 3 times 8 minus 8x minus 11 times 7 all over 7x plus 3 to the second power. So I'm going to go ahead and combine this. So this will be 56x plus 24 minus 56x minus 77. Now I'm not going to expand this. I'm going to leave it as it is. So 56x minus 56x. Those values are going to go away. 24 plus 77 is going to be 101 over 7x plus 3 to the second power. Here, u is going to be 9 minus 7t. U prime is just going to be negative 7. V is going to be 1 minus t, so then v prime is just going to be negative 1. So y prime is going to be 1 minus t times negative 7. 9 minus 7t times negative 1 all over 1 minus t to the second power. So that's going to be negative 7 plus 7t. And that's going to be negative 9 plus 7t, right? If I distribute that negative 1. Oops. I'm going to come over here. Jeez. That minus does not want to get squared. So for number 14, similar to number 12, you're going to have some of these cancel each other out. So the 7t's are going to cancel each other out. And then I'm going to end up with negative 7 plus 9, which is going to be 2. And then 1 minus t to the second power. All right, let's go over to number 18. Number 18, I'm going to define u to be negative x squared plus 8x. So u prime is negative 2x plus 8. V is going to be 4x squared minus 5, so v prime would be 8x. So then y prime would be 4x squared minus 5 times negative 2x plus 8. I'm going to move these up a little bit, just so I have some space. So I'm just rewriting these here real quick. So it's going to be minus negative x squared plus 8x times 8x all over 4x squared minus 5 to the second power. So here I can just kind of combine all of these, and I'm going to go ahead and just combine them here real quick. So it's going to be negative 8x to the third. Actually, let me do it this way. So 4x squared times negative 2x is going to be negative 8x to the third, right? Plus 10x, and this is going to be 32x squared minus 40, and then this will be negative 8x to the third plus 64x squared, right? All over 4x squared minus 5 to the second power. So if I distribute this negative, that becomes a positive 8x to the third power. And so I'm going to have the 32 minus the 64. And so what I'm going to end up with here, when I combine all of my like terms, I end up with negative 32x squared plus 10x minus 40 all over 4x squared minus 5 to the second power. All right, and that's how you do number 18. Let's jump over to number 22 here real quick. So number 22 is a little bit more involved. Might not have any space here to get this one done. Let me see. So just, if let me just go here. So use the square root of t. So u prime is 1 over 2 square roots of t, which is the same thing as 2 to the negative, 2 times t to the negative 1/2, right? V is 2t plus 3, and that makes v prime to be 2. So that makes life a little easier. So r prime of t then is 2t times 3 times 1 over 2, right? 1 over 2 square roots of t minus square root of t, not x, times 2, right? And then that's going to be all over 2t plus 3 to the second power. And so, oops, sorry, this is not 2. This is actually 1/2. Actually, let me leave it as that, because that it should have been 1/2 t to the negative 1/2, not the 2. And so I left it like that. So let's go ahead and multiply these. So this is going to be t over square root of t, right? Because if I do the 2t times the 1, cancel out the 2's. So this is going to be 3 over 2 square roots of t minus 2 square roots of t all over 2t plus 3 raised to the second power. And so if I clean this one up a little bit, I can combine here, basically the same thing that I did in the previous one. Let me leave the 2 here real quick, so it makes life a little easier for everyone. And so this is going to be 2t plus 3 minus 4t, right? If I multiply that over 2 square roots of t, so then this is going to be 2 square roots of t over 2t plus 3 to the second power. And so I'll cancel out, so it becomes negative 2t plus 3 over 2 square roots of t, 2t plus 3 to the second power. And that's number 22. I'm going to leave 28 extra for you guys. So let's jump over to number 43, which is the word problem. So number 43, what they're asking us for number 43 is the first question is to find the average cost function. So C of x, they gave us as 3x plus 2 over x plus 4. So C bar of x is divided by x, which is multiplied by 1 over x, so it becomes 3x plus 2 over x squared plus 4x. And then what they're asking us to find is to find C bar of 10. So if I calculate C bar of 10, I get 0.2286. Since it's in hundreds of dollars, it would be $22.86 per unit. So don't forget. Sometimes they'll give you those units, and you have to make cover them. So this is going to be for C bar of 20. So it'll be $12.92 per unit. So as I increase, my average cost decreases, obviously. And then so C bar of x is just basically this up here, which is already defined at per unit, right? And so they're asking us to find C bar prime. So C bar of x, right, we said is 3x plus 2 over x squared plus 4x. So C bar prime of x. So u is 3x plus 2, u prime is 3. V is x squared plus 4x, v prime is 2x plus 4. So then this becomes x squared plus 4x times 3 minus 3x plus 2 times 2x plus 4 all over x squared plus 4x to the second power. Cleaning this up a little bit, so 3x squared plus 12x, 6x squared plus 4x plus 12x plus 8. And then I'm just going to rewrite this one, the v of x squared. And so if I combine all of the like terms, I'm going to end up with negative 3x squared minus 4x minus 8 over x squared plus 4x to the second power. And that's number 43. So let's look at number 44. So number 44, what they're asking us is basically to give us the profit function, right? So P of x is 5x over 6. 5x minus 6 divided by 2x plus 3. So then P bar of x, the average profit function, then becomes the following: 2x squared minus 3x. So remember, since I'm doing this, that's the same thing as saying that, right? And so that's why we get the x in the denominator. And so in this case, C bar of 8 ends up being 0.224, which is $2.24 per book. P bar of 15, is 0.139, which is $1.39 per book. P bar of x is just the formula that we got, the function that we got earlier, and this is per book, right? And then so the next one is going to be P bar prime of x, and I'm going to leave that one extra for you guys to find that one. And that's the end of section 4.2. Thank you.